Lena's body grew numb, her limbs losing their strength. Memories suddenly flooded back, her parents' smiles, the afternoons spent working in the fields, and her dreams of a brighter life. They all flashed through her mind like a fast-forwarded reel, fleeting moments in the face of imminent death. "Please, I'm sorry." Those were Lena's final words before the icy waters pulled her completely into the depths of the river.
Once upon a time in a peaceful small town in Georgia, where endless cotton fields stretched out like a smooth white carpet and winding paths were shaded by moss-covered old oak trees, there lived a young girl named Lena. She wasn't just the gem of her family, but also the pride of the entire town. Her gentle demeanor, kind heart, and natural beauty captivated anyone who met her. Every morning, Lena would help her parents in the cotton fields, her small but diligent hands carefully picking the pristine white cotton bolls. As she walked, her light blue dress fluttered gently in the breeze, and her radiant smile seemed to brighten the world around her. Children followed her, cheerfully calling her name as if she were their beloved older sister. The adults in the town looked at her with affection, for Lena wasn't just beautiful, she carried a heart of gold. Lena's family wasn't wealthy, even modest by most standards. Their home sat humbly beside a dusty path, surrounded by an old wooden fence. Yet the house was always filled with laughter and warmth. For Lena, there was nothing more precious than family dinners by candlelight in their small kitchen, where her parents often shared tales of kindness and patience. Despite the material shortages, Lena never felt lacking in love. Sometimes she would gaze at the starry sky through her bedroom window, silently giving thanks for her wonderful family and the peaceful town she called home. The townsfolk, much like Lena's family, weren't rich, but they lived in harmony, sharing small joys with one another. When one household faced difficulties, the whole town came together to help. Every autumn, the town came alive with the Fall Festival, a special event to celebrate the community and give thanks for the bountiful harvest. Colourful stalls lined the streets, and the air was filled with the delicious aroma of fresh apple pies, roasted meat, and buttery popcorn. Gentle jazz melodies flowed from street musicians playing guitars and drums as everyone held hands and danced under the lantern lights. Lena often enjoyed watching families happily gather around craft booths or savouring traditional dishes like pumpkin pie and fried chicken. Amidst this serene picture, not everyone was happy about Lena's presence. Raven, Tasha, and Jade, three prominent girls in town, harboured secret jealousy toward her. Raven, the leader of the group, known for her long, glossy black hair, was considered the most beautiful girl in town before Lena became the centre of attention. Tasha, a sharp-eyed girl with a quick tongue, often masking her insecurities with witty remarks. Jade, the youngest in the group, constantly seeking validation from Raven and Tasha, willing to do anything to be accepted by them. The three often appeared together, laughing and chatting like close friends. But deep inside, envy toward Lena had taken root in their hearts. Their jealousy stemmed from nothing other than Lena's authenticity. While they had to strive to draw attention, Lena's mere smile could warm the hearts of everyone around her. They began to notice every little detail, the affection from the elders, how children would run to hug Lena, and even the admiring glances from young men in the town. All of it stoked their bitterness. "Who does she think she is?" Raven said one evening as the three sat under the old oak tree plotting. "If Lena weren't around, people would pay more attention to us," Jade added, her eyes gleaming with an idea. Tasha smirked. "Then we'll make her disappear." The contrast between Lena and the three girls created a compelling dynamic for the story. On one side, innocence and genuineness. On the other, jealousy and hidden schemes. Raven, Tasha, and Jade didn't just want to harm Lena out of envy. To them, Lena's popularity was a personal insult. They began pretending to be friendlier with Lena, working to earn her trust. Deep in their hearts, a dark plan was forming, not just to eliminate Lena, but also to assert their dominance in the town. Lena's story isn't just a simple fairy tale. It's a reflection of what can happen in real life, jealousy, fake relationships, and the value of honesty. American audiences, particularly those who've lived in small towns or tight-knit communities, can easily see parts of themselves in Lena or the people around her. This is not just a story for entertainment, but also a reminder of the power of kindness in the face of dark schemes. One radiant autumn afternoon, the golden glow of the setting sun stretched across the vast cotton fields, casting a soft and warm hue over everything. A gentle breeze rustled through the pumpkin vines in Lena's yard, causing the leaves to quiver as if whispering secrets. Dressed in a simple blue dress, Lena focused intently on picking the ripe pumpkins, her nimble hands moving swiftly and a faint smile gracing her lips. Suddenly, 3 familiar figures appeared on the dirt road. Raven, Tasha, and Jade approached, their lively chatter breaking the stillness of the evening. Raven, always the leader, flashed a bright smile that carried an air of mystery. "Lena, have you heard the news? This year's festival is going to be bigger than ever. They say there will be a costume contest and the winner will be honored in front of the whole town." Lena, maintaining her usual calm demeanor, smiled gently. "I heard about it from my parents, but this year the festival is being held in the neighboring town. My parents said I shouldn't go far, especially in the evening. They're worried it might not be safe." Raven's enthusiasm didn't falter at Lena's cautious response. She tilted her head, her eyes gleaming with a hint of scheming. "Oh, but Lena, this year's festival is going to be amazing. You can't miss it. This is our chance to shine together. We'll all be there for you." Jade stepped forward, brushing her hair back as she glanced at Tasha for support. "That's right, Lena, don't worry. You won't have to face anything alone. Come with us, and we'll make unforgettable memories together." Lena paused, raising her eyes to look at her friends. Her heart hesitated. It was hard to refuse such an invitation. The autumn festival was something she always looked forward to, but her parents had made it clear she should stay home. They were always concerned about her traveling far, especially to unfamiliar places. Sensing Lena's hesitation, Tasha quickly stepped in with a persuasive tone. "Lena, you deserve to have some fun. You've been working at home all year. Think of this as a little reward for yourself. Come on, it'll be so much fun, I promise." Lena pressed her lips together, her hand tightening around a pumpkin. She looked at her friends. They seemed genuinely eager for her to join them. But did they truly care about her? Or was there something else hidden beneath their intentions? "You can't miss this opportunity, Lena," Raven said, emphasizing each word like an irresistible invitation. "This is the biggest festival of the year, and besides, you won't have to worry about anything. We'll take care of everything. You just need to come." In that moment of doubt, Lena remembered the afternoons in the village when she and her friends used to laugh and share secrets under the shade of the old oak tree. Perhaps this was her chance to create more beautiful memories with her friends. But her parents' warnings echoed like a cautionary bell in her mind. Lena took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting both reluctance and excitement. "I'm not sure," she said, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Tasha seized the moment. "Lena, have we ever let you down? Come on, just this once. If you don't like it, we can leave right away. Don't let yourself miss out on something wonderful just because of unnecessary worries." Lena stood still, torn. She didn't want to disappoint her friends, and deep down, she longed to attend the festival, to immerse herself in the music, to blend into the crowd, and most importantly, to experience a sense of freedom from her daily responsibilities. Finally, Lena gave a slight nod, a spark of hope lighting up her eyes. "All right, I'll go with you, but we have to promise to come back before it gets dark. I don't want my parents to worry." As soon as the words left her lips, a triumphant smile spread across Raven's face. She stepped forward and put her arm around Lena like a trusted friend. "I knew you wouldn't say no. Trust me, you won't regret it." The group turned and began walking away, leaving the pumpkin field bathed in the glow of the setting sun. Lena felt a mix of relief and anticipation in her heart. Perhaps tonight would be a beautiful memory. Little did she know that single yes was the first step toward a journey she could never have imagined. A path filled with mysteries, dangers, and truths hidden beneath the guise of friendship. Behind them, Raven, Tasha, and Jade exchanged knowing glances and smiled slyly, their expressions hinting at something far from innocent. They had succeeded in drawing Lena into their plan, and everything was about to unfold just as they had intended. The faint moonlight bathed the grass along the path, creating a shimmering layer of mist in the night. The cool autumn air carried the subtle scent of cotton fields and forest trees. 4 girls steadily approached an old wooden bridge spanning the Savannah River, a river both serene and ominous, where nature and legend intertwined to create an air of enchantment. The wooden bridge had stood for generations. Each step across its worn planks elicited creaks, as if to warn of the secrets the waters below held. The river's surface was eerily calm, reflecting the silver light of the moon. Yet beneath the surface seemed to lie mysteries no one dared to speak of. Locals often shared tales of a mysterious spirit guarding the river. According to legend, this spirit not only protected the waters, but demanded respect from those who crossed. Anyone who failed to bring an offering, typically a simple token of gratitude, would face dire consequences. It was said that the river had claimed the arrogant, pulling them into the darkness beneath its surface. Lena, with her innocent and eager heart, was oblivious to these stories. To her, the Savannah River was merely a stunning natural feature, its moonlit surface a sight to marvel at. She didn't notice the quick glances exchanged between Raven, Tasha, and Jade as the group neared the bridge. The 3 girls were well aware of the legend. They had planned ahead, preparing small cornbread offerings wrapped neatly in cloth, tokens to ensure their own safety. Yet they said nothing to Lena. In silent complicity, they kept this knowledge to themselves, knowing it would serve their plan. Lena stepped onto the bridge, her foot landing on the first plank, which creaked beneath her weight. She lifted her head, taking a deep breath, savoring the crisp scent of the river. "It's beautiful," she murmured, a soft smile gracing her lips. However, as she glanced toward her friends, she noticed they were holding something in their hands. Lena, with natural curiosity, "What are you carrying?" Raven, quick-witted, slipped the cornbread into her pocket and smiled lightly. "Oh, nothing, just a snack. Come on, we're almost there." Raven's voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of tension as she turned away. Tasha and Jade said nothing, walking faster as though avoiding further questions. As Lena ventured farther onto the bridge, a faint breeze swept through, tousling her hair. Beneath her feet, the planks trembled gently, almost as if issuing a warning. She paused for a moment, her eyes scanning the river's still surface. For the first time, she felt something unusual. The river seemed to whisper, a faint sound rising from its depths. "Did you hear that?" Lena asked her friends, her eyes filled with curiosity and a hint of unease. Tasha laughing deliberately to ease the tension. "Hear what?" "Lena, you're scaring me. Don't make everything so creepy." Even so, Tasha glanced at the river, her expression showing a flicker of worry. Jade, the youngest, clutched her cornbread tightly, determined not to reveal her anxiety. Lena shrugged, convincing herself it was all in her imagination. She continued walking, feeling the chill of the water below seeping through the wooden planks. Deep down, she couldn't shake the odd behavior of her friends, but chose not to disrupt the anticipation of the festival. She turned to Raven. "Do you think this bridge is a bit old? It creaks every time I step on it." Raven, now seemingly impatient, replied quickly, "Lena, you worry too much. This bridge has been here for 100 years, and it's still standing. Just keep going. We don't want to miss the festival." Lena nodded, quickening her steps to catch up with her friends. Yet the feeling that something was amiss lingered in her heart. As the group neared the end of the bridge, Raven, Tasha, and Jade paused momentarily. In a fleeting moment, they placed their offerings at the edge of the bridge, adhering to the legend they had long heard. Lena, trailing behind, did not see their actions. She remained entirely unaware that the 3 girls had prepared for their safety while leaving her unprotected. Once everyone had crossed to the other side, Lena turned to glance at the river again. Under the moonlight, the water mirrored her innocent gaze. Somewhere in the depths below, another gaze seemed to meet hers, silently waiting for something. Her friends quickly urged her onward. Come on, Lena, the festival is waiting. Lena smiled and walked with them, blissfully unaware that here at this very river, a mysterious curse was beginning to stir, and that she had unknowingly taken the first step into a journey filled with danger, secrets, and peril. The festival in the neighbouring town was like stepping into another world, a vibrant scene straight out of a painting. The light from large lanterns strung along the streets shimmered like stars fallen to the earth. The air was filled with the enticing aroma of freshly baked apple pies, grilled meats over glowing coals, and the buttery crunch of popcorn. Laughter and chatter blended with gentle jazz melodies played by a local band at the corner of the street, where townsfolk held hands and danced in pure joy. Lena, visiting a larger town for the first time, couldn't hide her amazement. Her wide eyes sparkled with excitement as she wandered past colourful stalls offering everything from handcrafted arts to handmade trinkets. She paused to admire necklaces adorned with glimmering pearls, sniffed the fragrance of wildflowers displayed along the roadside, and felt the cool breeze brushing her face. "It's so beautiful," Lena whispered, a radiant smile gracing her lips. In that moment, she felt as though she were living in a dream she had never dared to imagine. But as Lena immersed herself in the novelty and excitement, a warm voice spoke beside her. "Hello," said a tall young man, his smile so captivating it seemed to melt everything around him. "I'm Elijah. I don't think I've seen you here before. Are you new to town?" Startled, Lena's cheeks turned a faint shade of red, but she quickly regained her composure. She nodded, her shy gaze dropping to the ground. "Yes, this is my first time attending the festival here." Elijah chuckled softly, a sound that seemed to make the air around him even warmer. "Then let me show you around. I know every corner of this place." Lena looked at him, her eyes lighting up with surprise. "Really? Thank you, but I don't want to bother you." "It's no bother at all," Elijah said, his eyes reflecting genuine sincerity. "Trust me, you don't want to miss the best parts of this." And so, Lena walked beside Elijah as he guided her through the festival. He enthusiastically pointed out every detail, showing her the best apple pies, inviting her to try a steaming pumpkin pastry, and even pausing while she admired some dainty pieces of jewellery she fancied. "You know," Elijah said as they stood by a flower stall, "this festival isn't just about food and dancing. It's about connection, about remembering that we all belong to a larger community." Lena smiled softly, feeling his words like a warm touch to her heart. Meanwhile, as Lena revelled in the sweetness of the moment, her three companions, Raven, Tasha, and Jade, were far from enjoying themselves. Standing at a distance, their eyes followed Lena and Elijah like predatory birds. "She always hogs all the attention," Raven muttered, her lips pressed into a tight line. "Look at that," Tasha added, her tone laced with irritation. "No one's even noticing us anymore. Even Elijah, the one everyone admires, is with her." Jade, the youngest but equally venomous, whispered sharply, "We have to do something. She can't always be the centre of attention like this." Raven turned to the other two, her eyes glinting with determination. "She'll pay for this," she said firmly, as though her plan had already been set in motion. Completely unaware of the hostile gazes fixed on her, Lena continued chatting happily with Elijah. For the first time, she felt free, able to be herself without the weight of daily responsibilities or her parents' worries. Laughter echoed as she and Elijah tried their hand at a balloon-popping game at a small stall. When Elijah won, he handed her a small teddy bear as a prize. "For you," he said, his warm smile never wavering. "Thank you," Lena said, her eyes sparkling like stars. But amidst the lively atmosphere, there was something Lena couldn't perceive. The scheming taking shape behind her back. She had no idea that the friends she trusted were plotting something that would change her life forever. As night fell, the vibrant festival gradually came to an end. The glowing lanterns began to dim, fading with each step the group of friends took along the path home. The laughter and chatter had subsided, replaced by the murmuring sound of the Savannah River ahead. The air grew cooler, and the wind rustling through the ancient oak trees created a whispering sound, mysterious in the darkness. The group approached an old wooden bridge spanning the river. Lena, feeling a little tired after a long day, still carried a gentle smile, recalling the joyful moments of the festival. But as they reached the edge of the bridge, Raven, Tasha, and Jade suddenly stopped. Raven turned to Lena, her lips curling into a cryptic smile. "Lena," she said, her voice drawn out with a mocking edge. "Did you forget something important? To cross this bridge, you need to offer a tribute to the river. Otherwise, the consequences could be troublesome." Lena froze, her heart tightening in her chest. "A tribute?" she repeated, her voice trembling. "But I didn't bring anything. Why didn't you tell me this before?" Jade tilted her head, her eyes feigning regret. "Oh, Lena, we didn't mean to keep it from you. It's just, we only brought enough for ourselves. Sorry about that." Tasha added, her tone light but laden with hidden meaning. "It's a shame, really, but Lena, you know everyone has to take care of themselves." Lena stood frozen in place, her wide eyes filled with fear and confusion. She turned to the girls, hoping for their help, but all she received were cold stares and fake smiles. "Please," Lena begged, her voice breaking, "just a little bit so I can cross the river safely. I'll pay you back, I promise. Please." But Raven merely shrugged, her gaze unwavering. "Sorry, Lena. Rules are rules. There's nothing we can do." Tasha and Jade exchanged triumphant glances before turning away. The three girls retrieved their offerings, small cornbread cakes carefully wrapped in cloth, and placed them meticulously at the edge of the bridge, performing the ritual with apparent reverence for the river. Once the tributes were set, Raven, Tasha, and Jade swiftly crossed the bridge, their steps light yet deliberate, as if nothing was amiss. Lena, left behind, felt the world closing in around her. The wind blowing across the creaky wooden planks sounded like mocking laughter echoing in her head. The darkness deepened and the water below began to ripple, reflecting the moonlight in a strange, eerie way. "Wait!" Lena called after them, but none of the girls stopped. Raven turned back briefly, casting Lena a fleeting glance. "Good luck, Lena," she said, her voice as soft as the wind, but filled with a chilling challenge. As the girls disappeared on the far side of the bridge, Lena realized she was utterly alone. She stood there, her hands trembling, her eyes fixed on the deep, dark water below. Stories of legends she had heard began flashing through her mind, and for the first time, she felt the weight of true fear. Beneath the bridge, the water began to ripple, small waves spreading as if something was stirring below. The wind picked up, carrying the murmuring sound of the river, like a voice speaking in a language she couldn't understand. Lena felt a cold chill creep over her skin, sending goosebumps down her arms. "Please," she whispered, as though pleading with an unseen force. But the river seemed deaf to her pleas. From beneath the water, a faint, eerie light began to emerge, casting a strange blue glow onto the bridge. The air grew heavy, and Lena felt the presence of something invisible, something watching her, waiting for her to make a mistake. Lena glanced around, desperately searching for a way out. But the path ahead was swallowed by darkness, and behind her lay only the terrifying silence of the river. "This can't be happening," she whispered to herself, her voice shaking. "I won't let myself be trapped here." But how? Without a tribute, she couldn't cross. Without help, she was utterly alone. The surface of the Savannah River, once still under the moonlight, began to ripple as if stirred by an invisible force. Lena, carefully stepping across the old wooden bridge, felt an unusual chill pass through her, causing her to shiver involuntarily. The wind suddenly stopped blowing, and the silence was so profound that she could hear the creak of the wooden planks beneath her feet. Then a deep echoing sound broke the silence, reverberating from somewhere unknown. From the depths of the river, a strange blue light emerged, dimming the silvery glow of the moon. The small ripples quickly transformed into swirling whirlpools, and from the center of the water, a mysterious figure began to rise. Lena froze in place, her heart pounding wildly. From the middle of the river, an imposing figure appeared, a mermaid, but unlike any from the fairy tales Lena had heard. The goddess's jet-black hair flowed like rushing currents, and her sharp eyes, as cold as blades, seemed to pierce through the deepest fears in her heart. Her shimmering fins sparkled like precious jewels, but each glint carried an unsettling, icy aura. The mermaid's voice rang out, powerful like thunder yet chilling like frost. "Who dares to cross the river without offering tribute? You have disrespected my laws, and now you belong to me." Lena stepped back, her legs trembling as if they might give way. "Please, I didn't know," she stammered, her voice cracking with fear. "I didn't know about the tribute. No one told me. Please, forgive me." The mermaid raised an eyebrow, her cold eyes filled with disdain. "Didn't know? You dare step into my domain without knowing the laws? Ignorance is no excuse for forgiveness. Your arrogance, your lack of respect, have sealed your fate." "No," Lena cried, tears streaming down her pale face. "I didn't mean to. Please believe me. I just wanted to go home. I didn't know about the rules." The mermaid let out a low, haunting laugh that echoed eerily. "Home?" Her voice sharpened, slicing through the air like a blade. "Your home is now this river. You will serve me here forever." From the water, the swirling whirlpools became more violent. Waves splashed onto the wooden bridge, and an icy cold current suddenly wrapped around Lena. She screamed, struggling desperately, but the strength of the water was far beyond anything she could resist. "Please, please spare me," Lena sobbed, her hands flailing in the air, grasping for anything. But the water surged higher, pulling her down inch by inch. The mermaid's gaze remained unyielding. She simply stared at Lena, her icy eyes delivering a final, unspoken judgment. "Help!" Lena screamed, her voice echoing into the darkness. But no one was there to hear her. The friends she trusted had abandoned her, and the mermaid had no intention of stopping. Lena's body grew numb, her arms and legs losing their strength. Memories began to flood her mind, the smiles of her parents, afternoons spent working in the fields, and dreams of a brighter future. All of it flashed before her like a film reel, racing through her thoughts in her final moments. "Please, I'm sorry." These were Lena's final words before the icy water pulled her entirely beneath the surface. As Lena disappeared into the depths, the river gradually returned to its serene state. The mermaid gazed at the spot where Lena had vanished, a fleeting hint of an unreadable emotion flickering in her eyes. But soon, her cold expression returned, as though nothing had happened. She glided effortlessly across the water, her long hair flowing like graceful currents with every movement. "The law has been upheld," she murmured, her voice blending with the wind. Slowly, her figure sank back into the depths of the river, restoring the profound silence that had once enveloped the place. As night fell, the moon quietly illuminated every corner of the small town. But in Lena's modest home, the atmosphere had grown heavier than ever. Lena's parents, who had always believed their daughter was safe and trustworthy, now sat in the dimly lit kitchen, their hearts filled with worry. "She should have been home by now," Lena's mother said, her voice trembling as her hands clutched a worn knitted shawl. "She's never missed dinner before." Lena's father stood abruptly, his face stern but his eyes betraying unease. "I'll go look for her. We can't just sit here and wait." News of Lena's disappearance quickly spread throughout the town. Neighbours from nearby houses gathered, their faces etched with confusion and concern. Lena wasn't just a beloved girl in the town. She was a symbol of kindness and compassion. The thought of her being in danger weighed heavily on everyone's hearts. Amid the commotion, as the townspeople gathered in the small square, a soft sound came from the direction of the old wooden bridge. A small parrot, with vibrant green and golden feathers, appeared on a nearby branch. The peculiar bird began to sing, not an ordinary song, but a hauntingly sorrowful melody, as if carrying a forgotten story. The first notes brought the entire crowd to a halt. The parrot's voice, clear yet filled with sorrow, echoed across the square. Its song was more than just sound, it was fragments of truth. "Raven, Tasha and Jade," the parrot sang, its words resonating unmistakably. They left Lena behind. No tribute, no protection. The river took her. A chill ran down the spines of everyone present. All eyes turned to three girls standing at the edge of the crowd. Raven, Tasha, and Jade turned pale, speechless. Lena's father stepped forward, his eyes blazing with a mixture of anger and grief. "Is this true? Did you take my daughter to the river without telling her about the rules?" Raven took a step back, avoiding his gaze. We didn't mean to," she stammered. Tasha, her eyes wide with panic, tried to explain. "We didn't know it would turn out this way. We just thought—" "Thought what?" A voice shouted from the crowd, full of indignation. "You knew the river's rules. You knew a tribute was required, but you hid it from Lena. You abandoned her." Jade, the youngest, finally broke down in tears. We didn't think the river would actually do anything." Angry murmurs rippled through the crowd. The outrage and disappointment grew. The townspeople who had once thought of the three girls as Lena's friends now looked at them with scornful eyes. Lena's mother, her face pale and her eyes red from crying, stepped forward. My daughter is still out there, isn't she?" Her voice trembled, but her gaze was steady. "If the river has taken her, we must bring her back." An older woman in the crowd spoke up, her voice heavy with warning. "No one has ever challenged the river and returned safely. It's not just water. It holds a power we cannot understand." But Lena's father dismissed her words. "My daughter is out there somewhere. Whatever power the river holds, I don't care. I am her father and I will not leave her behind." A heavy silence fell over the crowd. The determination in Lena's parents' eyes filled those around them with both respect and unease. A young man stepped forward, placing a hand on Lena's father's shoulder. "If you're going, I'll go with you. We can't let you face this alone." Those words stirred a spirit of solidarity among the crowd. A few others stepped forward, ready to help. But Lena's father shook his head, his expression resolute. "This is our daughter. This is our responsibility. Pray for us, but do not risk your lives for us." As the townspeople watched, Lena's parents took a small oil lamp and headed toward the wooden bridge. The Savannah River seemed to glow eerily, reflecting the silver moonlight. A cold wind blew, carrying with it a damp mist, and all sounds seemed to vanish as they approached. The small parrot, still perched on the branch, watched them with eyes that seemed to understand the pain in their hearts. It sang once more, but this time, its melody was like a prayer, a hopeful plea for Lena's safety and her parents' courage. "We will bring her back," Lena's father said, his voice low but filled with resolve. Lena's mother stood beside him, her hands tightly gripping the lamp, her eyes fixed on the dark waters ahead. The Savannah River waited, silent yet menacing. In that space, the love of Lena's parents burned brightly, stronger than the darkness of the river. The night enveloped the Savannah River, with only the moonlight shimmering on the dark waters, creating a scene both majestic and terrifying. Lena's parents stood by the riverbank, their eyes filled with determination, yet glimmering with pain and worry. They knew that the trial ahead would be the hardest they had ever faced, but their hearts held a single, unwavering goal: to bring Lena back. "Lena!" her father called out, his voice echoing like a desperate plea. But only an ominous silence answered from the river. Suddenly, the water began to ripple, and a faint blue light emanated from the depths, illuminating the shore. A figure slowly emerged, a river goddess, a mermaid with an otherworldly beauty and piercing cold eyes. Her long black hair flowed like the rushing currents, and her shimmering scales glinted like jewels under the moonlight. She gazed at them directly, her voice resonating like the roar of a waterfall. "Who dares plead for my mercy? You have violated the laws of this river. Your daughter belongs to me now." Lena's father stepped forward, his hands clenched tightly to mask his trembling. "Please return our daughter to us. She didn't know about the laws. It wasn't her fault." The goddess tilted her head, her cold gaze sweeping over them. "Ignorance is no excuse. All who cross this river without an offering must face punishment. However, her voice trailed off, creating a tense silence. Lena's parents waited, their hearts pounding as if each second stretched into eternity. If you wish to save your daughter, prove your love is worthy of my mercy, she continued, her tone sharp as a blade. Cross this river without any assistance. No boat, no rope, no magic. If you succeed, your daughter will be freed. But if you fail... She didn't finish her sentence, but the look in her eyes said everything. Failure meant losing everything. Lena's parents exchanged a glance. In that moment, no words were needed. They understood each other's resolve. They couldn't give up. Holding hands tightly, they stepped into the icy waters. As their feet touched the surface, they felt the full severity of the trial. The water was freezing cold, almost alive, pulling them downward. Small but powerful waves surrounded them, pushing them off course. Lena's mother shivered, but didn't let go of her husband's hand. "We can't stop now," she whispered, her voice trembling but resolute. "We won't stop," Lena's father replied, gripping her hand even tighter. As they moved further into the river, the waves grew fiercer. The rushing water swept against their legs, causing them to stumble. Each step felt like a battle, not just against the river, but against the fear inside them. "Hold on to me," Lena's father said, his eyes fixed straight ahead. "We can do this," her mother responded, her voice growing stronger as her heart filled with determination. On the shore, the townsfolk watched in tense silence. They barely dared to breathe, afraid that any noise might break the concentration of the couple fighting against the river. As they approached the middle of the river, the waters suddenly turned violent. A massive wave crashed into them, knocking them to their knees. Lena's mother screamed, but her father quickly pulled her back to her feet. "Don't give up!" he shouted, his voice rising above the roar of the current. The two of them pushed forward, holding onto each other more tightly than ever. Then, as if by a miracle, the waves began to calm. From somewhere in the darkness, a brilliant light emerged, illuminating the entire river. The light seemed to carry an invisible power, steadying their steps and guiding them through the final stretch. The icy waters now felt warm, almost welcoming. When they reached the far shore, the light still surrounded them. Lena's parents collapsed to their knees, exhausted but filled with hope. The river goddess appeared once more, but this time her gaze softened. "You have proven your love," she said, her voice no longer cold but serene, almost accepting. "Your love and unity have calmed the river's anger. Your daughter shall be freed." With a gentle wave of her hand, Lena appeared by the riverbank, her eyes brimming with tears, but these were tears of joy and liberation. When Lena stepped out from the shadows of the river, the villagers had all gathered on the bank, their eyes brimming with joy and astonishment. Her mother rushed to her, her trembling arms wrapping tightly around Lena in an emotional embrace. "My dear, I thought I had lost you forever," she sobbed, tears streaming down her cheeks without end. Her father, a man known for his strength, could no longer hide his emotions. He joined them, pulling both mother and daughter into his arms, his eyes welling up with tears. "We did it. We brought you back," he said, his voice choked with emotion but filled with relief. The villagers who had witnessed the love and sacrifice of Lena's family broke into applause, cheers echoing through the forest by the river. In that moment, they weren't just welcoming Lena home, they were celebrating the strength of love and steadfast determination. Not everyone shared in the joy. Raven, Tasha, and Jade stood silently at the edge of the crowd, their faces pale as they met the angry stares of the townspeople. "You knew the rules," an elderly man spoke up, his voice stern and booming. "You abandoned Lena to face danger all because of your jealousy and selfishness." The crowd nodded in agreement, their expressions a mix of anger and disappointment. A woman in the crowd stepped forward, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Lena has always been kind to all of us, and this is how you repay her? With betrayal?" Raven tried to defend herself, her voice trembling. We didn't think it would go this far." Didn't think, another villager shouted, his voice full of anger. You knew how dangerous the river was. You planned to leave her behind. Don't pretend you didn't know. With no defense left, Raven, Tasha and Jade hung their heads in silence. The town mayor, a tall man with piercing eyes, stepped forward in front of the crowd. Raven, Tasha, Jade, he declared, his voice firm. From this day forward, you are no longer part of this community. Your actions have destroyed the trust we had in you. You are banished from this town. The declaration rang out like a judgmental bell. The three girls were led away from the town in heavy silence, their faces full of regret, but no one in the crowd showed them any sympathy. As dawn began to break over the town, bringing with it a cool, refreshing mist, the villagers were still immersed in the joy and relief of Lena's safe return. But an even more unexpected surprise awaited her. Elijah, the young man Lena had met at the festival, appeared amidst the crowd. His warm smile and gentle gaze were unchanged, but this time he carried himself with a different aura, serious and regal. Lena, he began, his voice full of emotion as though every word carried the weight of his heart. I am not just an ordinary man as you thought. I am Prince Elijah of the nearby kingdom. I disguised myself when attending the festival to better understand the lives of common folk. The crowd fell silent, astonishment written across their faces. Lena stood frozen, her eyes wide with surprise. Elijah stepped closer, his gaze never leaving Lena. From the moment I first met you, I knew you were unlike anyone else. Your kindness, courage, and inner beauty touched my heart. Today, before your family and friends, I want to ask, Lena, will you be my queen? The villagers erupted into cheers, applause echoing through the air. Lena's mother burst into tears once more, but this time they were tears of joy. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder, nodding in encouragement. Lena, her eyes brimming with tears, smiled brightly. I will, she whispered, her voice carrying the depth of a promise from the very core of her heart. Not long after, the small town was transformed in celebration of the royal wedding. Ribbons and lanterns adorned every corner, tables overflowed with delicious food and drinks, and the soothing sounds of jazz music filled the air. Dressed in a pure white gown, Lena walked arm in arm with her father, every step she took, radiating joy and hope. At the end of the aisle, Elijah stood waiting in his royal attire, his eyes shining with unwavering love. The two exchanged their vows under a radiant sky, witnessed by family, friends, and the entire village. Thunderous applause, cheers, and heartfelt blessings filled the atmosphere, creating an unforgettable scene of happiness. And so, Lena's story reminds us all of the enduring power of love, courage, and unity within family and community. This is not just a tale of triumph, it is a reflection of the values that have connected us and guided us through life's challenges. For the African American community, stories like this are a testament to the rich cultural heritage we inherit. They are not just tales passed down, but legacies to be preserved, priceless lessons to cherish, and bridges that connect us to our past, while inspiring our future. If you feel inspired by Lena's journey, take a moment to reflect on the values this story represents, the importance of kindness, the bravery to face adversity, and the strength found in unity. Share this video with your friends and family, because every view, like, and share helps keep these invaluable lessons alive. Let's ensure that these stories continue to be preserved, celebrated, and treasured by generations to come. If you are part of the African American community, this is your heritage, your pride, and your cultural treasure. Let's honor it together. Hit the like button if Lena's story of courage resonated with you. Leave a comment below to share your favorite moment from the story. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring tales that celebrate the richness of our shared history. Thank you for watching, and remember, every story carries a lesson, and every lesson has the power to change lives. Let's share and learn together.